Marketing messages from 2019 won't work as well as a 2022 driven message for your fitness brand right now. You don't want to miss this episode with fitness celebrity Natalie Jill, who's built a following of over, listen up, please, 3 million on social media in the last 15 years. You'll hear how she's not just chosen, but been forced to pivot, and her fitness brand right now is continuing to grow because of it. So who does that sound like? Like every fitness and health coach who had to do something different during the pandemic. In this episode, I asked her what she would do if she was in your shoes and what her biggest mistakes along the way were so that you can learn and grow from the insights. If you're scared, frustrated, feeling unrewarded for the hard work you're doing, listen in. No one has a smooth ride all the way through, and Natalie Jill is no different. As you hear her resilience, you may recognize some of the fight in you too. There's a place and a need for your fitness brand right now. Here's how to pivot what you may be doing and turn it into better results. I'm Deborah Atkinson. You're listening to what's been the Fitness Marketing Mastery Podcast, and is now She Means Fitness Business, as voted on by you, dear listeners. I am here to share marketing and sales strategies that are anything but sleazy, salesy, and pushy, so that you can build not just a business, but actually a life. So you've got the freedom and flexibility you really want, in addition to revenue. And you're helping people in the way you want to and defining success on your own terms, whether that's a part-time thing or that's a full-time thing. It's totally up to you. My guest today, let's jump right in, is Natalie Jill. She's a fat loss expert and creative sales strategist who helps women reignite, redefine, and rebrand what aging has to mean. 50 years old herself, and you will tell me I'm lying if you see her picture. She is changing conversations around age, potential, and possibility. She helps entrepreneurs like you craft their unique, compelling story, expand their brand, and excel on social media. She used the exact methods she teaches to grow her globally recognized fat loss and fitness brand with well over 3 million social media followers worldwide. That was not a typo. I read it correctly. She's got 2 best-selling books, a top-ranked podcast, and recognition from Forbes and Great List, several years in running as one of the top health and wellness influencers in the world. I can't wait to dive into this, but before we even do, I want to show you by the meta example. That bio just told you an awful lot about one individual you're about to listen to. It has you potentially on the edge of your seat. That is a well-crafted bio that a guest would send me, and you are looking for the way to do something very similar if you ever get interviewed by anyone else, including yours truly. Let's dive in. Natalie, thanks so much for being here.
Happy to be here.
All right. We've got some people who may be hurting, maybe post-pandemic displaced, maybe by choice they're wanting to move into something they care far more about, but many are struggling to be a voice that's heard over, your thousands and thousands of best friends now also trying to market online. If you, with more than 3 million followers, if you were starting over right now, what would you do to market yourself right out of the gate?
Yes, I love that. So number one, I would not compare to what everybody else is doing. That's number one, and so important, because when we have an idea that we want to go and do something or create or start something in the world, if we compare to people that are already crushing it, we're going to feel really behind. So what you want to do is, first of all, recognize that all those people started somewhere. They all started exactly where you are right now at one point. It might have been recent, it might have been a long time ago, but they all started there. And you want to stay in your zone there versus trying to compare to what somebody has accomplished crazy already in the world. And what I always suggest is you figure out, number one, first, what is something that you are passionate about, number one. And in that passion, what is a problem that you actually could solve for others? It's really as simple as those two questions. What am I passionate about? And what's a problem I can solve for others? Now, what a lot of people do wrong with those questions is they'll start thinking, but is it unique enough? Or, but somebody else is doing this. I don't want you to even think that. There's enough people in the world that you could have a lot of people doing a very similar thing. What's important is that it's unique to you, meaning you're passionate about it and that you have a solution for a problem that people are dealing with. So you really, and I'm just going to give you a few examples. This literally can be for anything. Let's just say you love crafts. You love to paint. You're like, this is a passion. Well, what do you love to paint? And what do you think people have a problem around with that? And I'm just going to throw out a bunch of different examples. Maybe somebody wants to learn to paint. Maybe somebody wants to buy paintings and they don't know where. Maybe somebody wants to have crafts at a party and they don't know where to start. Anyways, there's a lot of questions and problems you can bring up around your passion. And that's where I would start. So this could be with anything. It could be health and fitness. It could be dog walking. It could be anything, but you want to think, what's my passion and what's a problem people have within that I can help with?
Beautiful. Okay, so for comparison's sake, a lot of the listeners are thinking, 3 million followers. Are you kidding me? Like, it must have been so easy for her. What were some of the biggest marketing mistakes along your way?
And I want to back up and share that I certainly didn't start with 3 million followers. I started with 100 of my high school friends on Facebook. That's literally what I started with. My very first product was years ago, way over a decade ago. And I was sharing on social media to my 100 Facebook friends, 100 pictures of food I was eating every day. Like, this is what I'm eating for lunch. This is what I'm eating for breakfast. This is what I'm eating for dinner. Why was I sharing that? I was sharing that because I was walking through my own transformation and I was posting there for accountability. What happened was people started asking me, tell me about those recipes. How'd you make them? How are those working for you? So what I realized is I had a passion at the time for food and nutrition. And there was a problem I was now seeing. People are asking, how do I cook these simple recipes and are they healthy? So just like I just shared a minute ago, whoa, I had my formula right now. I had a passion, I had a problem, and I had a solution. So my very first product was an ebook. I just literally took all my BlackBerry phone photos because we used BlackBerry at the time. There was no iPhone. There was no editing software, none of that. I took my weird looking pictures from my BlackBerry. I put them in a document, like a Word document. I turned it into a PDF and I sold my first ebook for $35 to my 100 Facebook friends. And from that, people asked me, people would send me, like, they love the recipes. And they would ask me, how to use these to lose weight. So I created a second ebook to my 100 high school friends called 7-Day Jumpstart, which, by the way, is now a best-selling book in stores. And I sold that one. And people would message me and say, wow, I did your 7-Day Jumpstart download, which was at the time like 12 pages long. And they'd say, I lost 5 pounds. I lost 7 pounds. Where I feel amazing. And I would say, that's so awesome. Deborah, can I screenshot that and share that for others? It's so motivating. And Deborah would say, yeah, sure. So I would do that and I would share it and I'd say, who is next? Well, what happened from that was people started sharing it a lot. And my social media started to grow from that. So I point that story out because if I had said, let me wait until I have a lot of followers, that wouldn't have made sense. I grew because I was adding value and I was sharing, and that grew my social media.
Beautiful. Beautiful. Okay. Was there any one thing that along the way gave you a big marketing or exposure lift?
Gosh, there was no tricks or hackery. I will say that. And anytime you think you can do something like that, it hurts you. I'm just going to be really real. It does hurt you. I grew everything myself initially, but here's the kind of things I did that gave me jumps. But again, they came from me. So, and everybody's unique. So what worked for me might not work for you, but it's about finding where you uniquely skilled that you can do this. So for example, my Facebook was my main profile for a long time. I remember at one point I have almost 2 million on my Facebook now, but the time I had I don't call it 30,000 or something that it was growing. And I was not yet on Instagram, and Instagram came out and Facebook reach started to decline. And I went over to Instagram and I had, no followers there at all. And I thought, how am I going to grow this? And at the time I had my 7-day jumpstart program, my ebook. So I started noticing that on Instagram, a lot of people there were all these young kids, like 20, 19 to 20, that had these big 100,000 accounts for health and fitness. And I remember studying that and looking and going, okay, all these kids have these big fitness platforms here, but they're not selling anything. So I don't know how they're monetizing. So I reached out to some of them and I said, hey, I noticed you have this great platform, but you're not monetizing it. Would you be interested in a way to monetize it? And of course, they were all yes. So what I did is I took my Jumpstart and I said, okay, this is $37. If I show you how to sell it on your Instagram, and you link to my program and my page, I'll pay you 50% commission on any that you sell. And that took off. I was like the original affiliate maker on Instagram.
Wow.
So I had this one kid, I remember he was making like $5,000 a month just from selling my Jumpstart program. So he would do these little challenges like, let me help you lose weight, 7 days. And he would post about it. He would tag my page. And that started jumpstarting my Instagram, and it made him and me money on it. So that was one example.
Yes. Oh, God. Yeah. And that was how long ago?
I mean, this was years ago. I mean, that's got to be 8-9 years ago that was happening. So that was not recent. But this is what I want people to know. The bigger my account gets, the less my reach is. That's really real. You think about it, I've had a lot of evolving over the years, especially on Instagram. And I have way less engagement at a huge number than I see people with smaller numbers having. And that's just inevitable because the more you grow, the more you're going to attract just random. It's not necessarily your avatar. You'll get bots following you. No matter what you do, you're going to get bots following you as you grow. Mm-hmm. So what happens if only a small percentage of people actually see your stuff, the larger your account is, that's not necessarily ideal because if only 3% are seeing your stuff and you have an account of 500,000 people and you don't know that all 500,000 people are targeted people, you're really muddying who's seeing your stuff. Where if you're smaller and starting out, you actually are getting a way better reach and algorithm because a higher percentage of the people following you are actually seeing your stuff. So it's misleading to think that you need a bigger account to have a business or sell things.
Yeah. So much better to have 100 super engaged high school classmates than
100%. Yeah. And I tell my my clients this all the time. My ones that come to me for branding and sales, they're so focused on the number. I'm like, let's not worry about your number. Let's worry about getting your engagement up and nurturing and getting the right people on your page. I'd rather you have 500 people that we build on your Instagram, but they're all super targeted to your demographics and they become raving fans of yours. That's way more effective than looking for this 100,000 number that you're going to reach less of them.
Love it. Okay. What at this point, and then look back and say, then how much of your marketing or creating the marketing materials or the message, the emails, the content, did you allocate to somebody else versus doing yourself then and now?
That's a great question. Most of it is me, and I'm going to share why. We tend to want to delegate what we don't understand. And I think it's too early to delegate things then. I'm of the mindset that you should learn things first, figure out your way, and then delegate the part that you don't like or that's taking up all your time. That's the way that I operate. I think when you just go and hire somebody to take over something, when you haven't learned it first, it's not going to be very effective. Really, really important, especially when it comes to social media. I love social media agencies and those people if you've learned it first. That's how I feel. So for example, I grew my Facebook and my Instagram, my Pinterest, my YouTube, all of it completely by myself initially. And I will tell you, when I started handing it off, I really lost touch of the consumer. And my sales, my profit, all of that started going down. For vanity metrics, it looked good to hand it off to people, but it wasn't truly my voice at that point, I felt. So right now, my Instagram is fully me. My TikTok is fully me. That is literally me doing all the posts there. And people say, well, I don't have the time or what. How do you not have the time though, if that's your biggest place you're focusing for sales? If that's where you want to seriously grow, I'm not saying that it should be for everybody, but why would you not make that a priority of your time?
Great question. What if I said to you, what parts of the job do you love? And maybe by fairness, I have to say, which parts do you hate?
Let's see. What do I love? I love being creative. I love creating content. I don't love when I have a creative block, but what I've given myself permission to do is I don't have to post every day. I don't have to post 3 times a day. I can post 3 times a week if I want. I would rather my mindset. And again, I'm not looking at how do you grow an account. There's other people that are experts on that. This is more, how do you truly engage and get your voice out is what I'm saying. How do you truly find clients or buyers or people that want to work with you? And I think less is more for that. So, and I'm sure somebody would argue with me if they're trying to grow an account, that's different. But for me to find engaged people, I would rather less content, but really, really detailed, not someone just handing off and making you a random graphic, like really thinking it through. What I don't love about it is the comparison mode. So if I get caught up in, oh, somebody's doing 3 posts a day, or we should do that, or we should do that. I don't love that. I also don't love niching down. I'm going to be really real. I teach niching down. It's important to have one message. I love to create. And I'm ADD, so I like to do all different things. So for example, my Instagram, for the most part, I'm featuring just anything that's relatable to women in their 40s and 50s. I do humor, I do comedy, things on menopause, on perimenopause, on raising a teenager, on drinking wine. Anything that relates is what I'll do. But that is not the best marketing when I'm getting close to a launch or anything. So like right now, for example, at the time of this recording, I'm getting ready to launch my twice-a-year program, my Total Body Thrive fat loss program. And in order to do that effectively, I can't just be posting random videos that make people laugh. I have to be really niching down into fat loss right now. And I don't love that because the creative person in me wants to do humor and comedy and all the fun things and have a viral video. But I know that I have to let myself not be as creative and be a little bit more mundane to stick to the same messaging in order to make the launch happen. And that's a hard pill for some people to swallow, because anyone that likes social media, for example, we want to be creative, but you have to be very, very specific and clear in your messaging if you want people to want to end up in your programs.
Love it. Okay. What would you say to a fitness pro or health coach listening who has heard the advice, you need a niche, and still isn't niched down? Because that just feels like you're painting me into a corner, and I can't be creative when you do that.
Yeah. Kind of similar like what I just said, but it's well, do you want to make money or do you want to have fun? You have to choose.
I can't have fun without money. I don't know about you.
Right. Well, like I would love to just make funny hot flash videos all day. I would love to, but I'm not selling a hot flash program. I'm selling a fat loss program that helps women with all types of things with fat loss. So I've got to be very, very clear on that messaging that that's what I do. So my videos, my posts might get less views and comments when I'm not doing the humor or whatever, but it's certainly going to get attention of the right people that I can help. So it's just a choice. It's just deciding and really looking at it as a business versus just what do I feel like doing today here?
And what if somebody's got a niche, but they're still not quite getting any traction?
Yeah, then there's a couple things there, and it's hard to answer without seeing what they're doing here. But sometimes you think you have a niche, but you really don't. Like being, a hot 40-year-old is not a niche. That's not a niche. Or just saying you are, a fit mom, that's not a niche. A niche is a very specific thing. I help so-and-so do what? I help so-and-so do what?
So that they can.
Yes. Or so that they won't either too, or without the whatever. I help women. For me, I'm very clear. I help women in their 40s, 50s, and beyond specifically. I don't say I help everyone with fat loss.
Mm-hmm. Beautiful. I love it. Okay. Every listener is saying, where can I get more Natalie Jill, please?
Yeah, absolutely. I would love to. So nataliejill.com is my main website, but if you want more on the branding, sales, marketing, that type of thing, then I would go to brandstoryexpansion.com. brandstoryexpansion.com, brandstoryexpansion.com. I typically work with 7-figure and higher entrepreneurs just to for my one-on-one. So if someone was interested in that, it's typically 7 and 8-figure entrepreneurs that already have a team and are already established that I help up level on their sales. For those of you starting out, what I highly recommend is download brandstoryexpansion.com/goal, the word goal, brandstoryexpansion.com/goal. What that does is it helps you pick any goal. You could pick any goal. Like I want to figure out my niche, or I want to build my Instagram, or I want to do this. And I give you a method to help you get there in 12 weeks.
Beautiful. And then next year, you'll work with her privately.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Okay. Natalie, it's been a pleasure. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
All right, listeners, now it's up to you. Of course, you've probably got a question, or I'm guessing you've got a comment, and it might even be a thank you, Deborah, very much for having her on. You can find the show notes at fitnessmarketingmastery.com/your-fitness-brand. And what are you waiting for? The world needs us right now more than ever.